My best friend is broke, and when I told him my boss would let him work as a server with me, he turned it down and said that job is only for low people with no self-respect. Posted by you/Spielbeans. This happened just before. My 31M best friend, 33M, is broke. He hasn't worked in over a year, he's running out of savings, and has even had to ask his parents to support him. I've asked him many times why he doesn't try to get a job outside his field. He has a computer science degree but has never worked in the field a single day since graduating. He's turned down lots of jobs for various reasons. They don't pay enough, they won't give him a higher up position right away, etc. I'm well aware he's deluded in that sense, but he has many other good qualities, and that's why I love the guy. Since graduating, the only job he's done is share marketing, something like online investing, in Forex. He said he made about $20 a day and that it was enough for him. He's single, lives in a shared house, and doesn't spend much. Whatever makes him happy, right? The thing is, he's totally broke. I don't think he's really making even $20 a day from shares because he's run out of money. He's stressed out and won't stop complaining about money problems. This is confusing for me, and I think it comes down to his pride not allowing him to get a job that doesn't fit his ego. I work as a server in a very nice restaurant and have offered him a job as a server many, many times. I have a great relationship with my boss, and after telling him about my friend's situation, he didn't hesitate to say he wanted to help and would like to offer him a full-time job. My friend has been turning it down for months without really giving much of an explanation. Today, he called me saying his parents have cut him off and asked to borrow money from me. I told him that, as a personal rule, I do not lend money to anyone, but he was welcome to start working with me tomorrow. He again turned down the offer, and I got a bit frustrated because I'm offering him a solution to his money problem, but he won't accept it. So, we got into a bit of a banter, and he finally confessed he thinks being a server is low and doesn't get you people's respect. I told him respect is earned by getting off your bum and doing whatever you have to do to make ends meet. I asked him if he thinks I'm low, and he backpedaled, saying he didn't mean I, in particular, was low, but the job itself was. He then straight up told me nobody can respect me for working as a waiter in my 30s. Wow. To be honest, I'm pretty upset. He thinks I'm low for working as a server? I have a degree too, but I couldn't find a job in my field, so I took the first job I could. I'm not some prissy prick thinking I'm too good to serve others. I take pride in being a waiter and doing a great job. I'm so hurt by his comments. Why is he my friend if he thinks I'm low? I didn't want to say something nasty or get into an argument, so I only told him he was being very offensive and that I felt he needed time to think about what he said to me. He replied, saying there was nothing to think about, then gave me a list of low jobs like street sweeper, cleaner, etc., and said it's a fact those are low, not respected jobs. I asked him to apologize before this snowballed into a full-blown argument, but he said he stood by what he said. I don't want to overreact, but I don't know if we can keep being friends after this. I really don't know what to do. I don't want to badmouth him, but he should examine his life and learn empathy. I'm a very easygoing and forgiving person, but what he said hurt me and was idiotic. The man who refuses to work is calling me low. I don't know what to do. Relevant comments. Commenter. Oopsie, his privilege is showing. I've worked as a bartender since the age of 21, many years ago, lol. I've always made really good money. I'm efficient, cute, and have a forked tongue. The last place I worked was the local pub/dive bar. Loved it. We needed a cook, small kitchen, one-man job. We hired a kid who did have a college degree, in philosophy, I believe. This kid was a total pain in the rear. He definitely thought he was way too good for his job, and it oozed out of his pores. I was talking with a coworker, and we both agreed that what he had was a case of white privilege. I mean, get over yourself. Super frustrating situation. Hopefully, your buddy will figure it out someday. The world doesn't owe him crap, and you're only going to get back what you put out there, so stop being a clown. Oh, and yes, I went to college as well. Commenter 2. This guy is brown, though, not white. Op mentioned this in another thread. But in countries like Bangladesh, where the friend is from, there's a much bigger social class difference between white and blue-collar jobs and how the public views them compared to Western countries. So, I can see why he would be so insistent on not taking a server job. However, being a bum at 33 would be looked down upon similarly, so at this point, he's just deluding himself into thinking he's superior and needs to face reality. Update 1 day later. I made this post yesterday asking for advice on how to handle the situation with my friend. In an interesting turn of events, he called me today and said he'd thought it through and had decided he's willing to accept the job, but only on one condition, as if he were doing me the favor, that he be made manager right off the bat and that he move in with me so I can drive him to work because the bus from his house to my workplace takes 35 minutes, which means over an hour of commuting a day. He then suggested I move my youngest daughter into my elder daughter's room so there would be an empty bedroom for him in my house. So, he had obviously given this some thought. I was dumbfounded. The sense of entitlement and the level of pride you need to make those demands is astonishing. I know he's never had a proper job, but he's not stupid, He has to know you can't be made manager if you don't even know the names of the dishes or how to serve a coffee. It's all about his pride. He's got an ego bigger than I thought. He can't be humble enough to accept a waiter job and work his way up. He needs to be made manager so it won't hurt his pride as much. To be honest, I was so at a loss for words that I said I didn't want to talk and hung up. I can't explain how off-putting that conversation was. I feel repelled by him, I feel disgusted, as if something has changed inside me. I can't have a person like him in my life. What makes a person refuse all help purely out of sheer pride? My wife says I've been patient and kind enough to him throughout the years and that I should let him figure things out on his own. He really is broke. Before his parents cut him off, they were covering his rent and bills, and he survived on the $20 a day he claimed to be making from investments. I know he barely eats and can't even afford a new pair of shoes, among other things. I know he has no money, so why won't he accept the job? He's not shy, has no mental health issues, and has no problem dealing with people. He's refused many other jobs in the past, even ones related to his degree, computer science. He has this wrong idea that he should be given higher up positions right from the start simply because he's him and that's what he deserves. That's why he hasn't worked a single day since graduating nearly a decade ago. Anyway, I've got to do some deep thinking and reevaluate this friendship because I don't like the person he's becoming. His dad is a bus driver and his mother a retired teacher. They are lovely, humble, down-to-earth people. I think they've done the right thing cutting him off. I know they're both struggling financially, so it's not fair for their son to leech off them. His mother even had to go back to work doing some tutoring to make extra money to support my friend. I'd be so ashamed if I made my 70-year-old mother go back to work just so I could sit at home dreaming of landing the perfect job while actively doing nothing to get one. Anyway, I'm rambling. Sorry, I'm just so mad. My wife says it's time to cut the cord and distance ourselves from him. I think she might be right. Relevant comments. Commenter. This is just my warning for anyone thinking about hiring a friend. Don't. They often become the most entitled people because they know you and expect some leeway to slack off. I know because I gave one friend a job who was struggling, had 2 kids, and twins on the way. He told me he had experience, was a hard worker, and that this job would be a breeze. The first week, while making a delivery, he wrecked a trailer. In week 2, he crated the tailgate on my pickup, got lost on several deliveries, after claiming he knew his way around the entire county, and got a pickup stuck in the mud. In week 3, he found out that I had fired an employee for getting a company vehicle impounded for being in possession of meth. He started yelling at me for firing the guy without proof. I told him I went to the police station to collect my keys and saw my employee so high he couldn't even talk. He called me a liar. I told him it was none of his business. He left my office, and I thought it was over, but it wasn't. He continued making daily comments about how unfair I had been. I had enough of this guy after 3 weeks but felt obligated to help him and his family. In week 4, he started showing up late. When I asked why, he told me there was more to life than work. I agreed but told him I needed to be able to depend on him. He was only working 40 hours a week. In week 5, he was supposed to meet a customer at a location. He made it there but decided to take a nap while waiting. The customer ended up getting his own stuff out of the truck and left him sleeping. Wondering where he was when he was 30 minutes late, I tried to call him. No answer. I called the customer, who told me what the employee was doing. 2 hours later, he showed up at the office and lied to me, saying the customer was late. I called him out on it, and he instantly gave me his 2 weeks notice, saying I cared too much about my customers and my business and not enough about my friends. I told him to just take the next 2 weeks off to find a job. He even tried to use me as a reference for his next job. Anyway, don't hire your friends. I liked this guy before, and now I can't stand him. Anyone else wouldn't have made it past week 3. Just don't do it.